In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own custom text field subclass for an iOS project. We'll create a simple iOS project, and we'll start by looking at the text field. And looking in the inspector, you can see its current properties, and what we want to do is add to our subclass the ability to change the border, which you see is not available here by default. If I look at the docs for iOS text field, you can also see that there is no property related to the border at all. But if we look at the iOS class UI text field, which is what the iOS text field is based on, when we scroll through the Apple's docs, we can find that there is a way to set the border style, and they have a border style property. So looking at that in the docs, we can see that border style is actually a computed property, has a getter and a setter, and it uses a UI text border style to set the style, which apparently is a constant when we look at that doc page. And by clicking on each of these, I can see what the constant values are. And I can make a note of them so that we can set that up in our iOS text field subclass. So with this information, we can go back to Xojo and we can start designing our class. So first we'll add the class, and I'm going to give it the name custom text field. You could also call it border text field, and I make sure the super is set to iOS text field because this is a subclass of it. And what I'm going to do is add a computed property. I will call it border style. And its return type is going to be an enumeration instead of just an integer constant. So I call that border styles, plural, and I'll add the enumeration here. This kind of works because Xojo enumerations use integer values behind the scenes, so they'll match up with the call we need to make. So I can just set the enumeration values to the corresponding integer constant values that we saw on Apple's doc page. And now I can put in the code for the setter. This will call the Apple border style computed property. Now, since we're calling the setter, we actually need to prefix it with set, tweak the casing a little bit, and then we are passing in a reference to the control and then the actual value. So by calling it, we give it the handle, and then we convert the provided enumeration value to an integer. And the getter is similar. The declare is actually a function. We have to prefix get in front, tweak the style, and it returns the integer constant value, the integer value. And then we take that value after calling the function, and we just, with a select case, just convert it back to the enumeration and return the actual enumeration. Now I can click on inspect behavior and flip this property on so it shows in the inspector. So if I scroll down there, I can see our newly added border style property, and its enumeration values appear there. And what is cool is I can set one of these as a default. So I can click here and type in the 3 so that it will be the default to match the behavior of the built-in iOS text field. And that's it, it's now set up. So you can see here, standard text field does not have the border property, but I can drag over our custom text field, and it now has the border style property, defaulted to rounded rect, which is what the standard text field uses by default. And I can change it, of course. So I'll set this one to none. I'll add a couple more to show what the other border styles look like. So we'll set that one to line, and then we'll set the last one to bezel. Now I'll run this in the iOS simulator so you can see what all 4 border styles look like. The top one, of course, is the default. That's a rounded rect. This one here is no border. Almost looks invisible until you click in it. This one is the line border. And this one is the bezel border. And that's how you can make your own iOS text field subclass for your Xojo iOS apps.